Hello.
Hi,
Um, so we are going to start by introducing ourselves. My name is Amanda,
I'm Delaney.
and we are reading Throne of Glass, which I am rereading, and
And
Delaney is reading for the first time.
no idea what I'm getting myself into. I
Yes.
feel like with ACOTAR, when I read ACOTAR, that
There's somebody actually ringing my doorbell at my door. Let's try this again. I really think I can just cut all this. And if
okay,
I can't, this is going to be hilarious.
it's gonna be great.
Okay, so you're talking about Akatar.
ACOTAR, yeah. So ACOTAR, that was like the first book that I actually read in like years, like an embarrassingly long time. And that like
Same. Literally same.
everyone was recommending it. So like I feel like I at least kind of like knew what I was getting into with that. Throne of Glass, I have no idea. Like I have avoided all the spoilers, like even being on like book talk and everything. Like I have no idea. Like some of the names are familiar from like being on book talk, but I'm like, oh, that's what they go to. But
Yeah,
besides,
which the
no,
hardest problem for me is going to be like keeping them from you. And literally now that we're talking this into existence, your phone's going to be sending you spoilers, so you need to
no,
watch your back.
it's okay. I'm doing a social media cleanse, so hopefully I'll still be able to avoid it.
Perfect. The other thing that I wanted to note, so you said you have heard literally nothing.
Literally not a single thing.
Okay. So that was the one thing where everyone argues about the order of reading Throne of Glass,
Yeah, that's like the
whether
course that I.
whether to read Assassin's Blade first or to read it third. I read it third, but I had not like, I mean, I guess spoilers, but like I knew who a certain character was and what happened to that character in Assassin's Blade. So it
Okay.
didn't matter. Like, I wouldn't have had the same reaction reading Assassin's Blade knowing going into Throne of Glass. So it's like, I already kind of figured that was going to happen.
Okay.
So, and they also say like it's the more romantic order. I also just am not, you know, that emotional of a person. I think if you read Assassin's Blade first and then got to these, you would have needed like a month to recover because that's how much of an empath you are.
June cancer and that just ability to.
so so it's gonna be a struggle when we get to it third,
Okay.
but it just like brings it all back together, so it's great.
Okay. I'm mentally
The
prepared for
the other thing I wanted to start off, so you've avoided as much as possible.
it.
We are talking about chapters 1 to 10
Hmm.
today, where we introduce some of the characters. I want to hear how you pronounce them.
All right. Well, I'm not even going to start with a character name. I'm going to start with the name of the place because
Perfect, because I say it wrong.
whatever it is in my brain, I have to tell myself not Alderaan every time.
Okay,
Because
so you
my
say
brain
not
says no,
Alderaan. I say,
it doesn't.
wait, I say Ardalan. So almost as close, but we're just putting the R before the D, and that's just not what it is.
Not the correct order of any of the letters.
And I just refuse to try to correct myself because it's literally just a place.
So I read all of ACOTAR and all of Fourth Wing, like both of those series. I had those as audiobooks. So I
Yes,
didn't have to worry about how I was pronouncing them. Like I had
correct.
the audiobook pronunciation of it. So now that like I'm back, it's like, and I did the same exact thing with what's that? What's Game of Thrones? Goodness gracious.
Oh yeah,
Game
yeah.
of Thrones. Like I had watched
Problem
the
with Game of Thrones is they're also all like almost the exact same name.
but that's the problem is like my brain literally just for the names. Like when I'm reading, I just skip over it. I'm like, that's not important.
We know who you're talking about. It really doesn't matter.
On names, and it's because I thought they were stupid names. So like, this is to go so out of order. We can come back to this, but Holland
Holland.
Haviliard is the stupidest name ever. No wonder
Yes.
he's acting like a.
Um, I also kind of like say Havillard, which I'm definitely missing a couple eyes in there, but
Yeah,
also not important. People are gonna come after us. I don't care. I'm gonna say Ardalan. She's gonna say whatever the heck you said,
Alderaan.
and it's not correct. We got all the letters covered, so that's
Exactly.
what matters.
They're all there.
Okay, so
Okay,
let's
so
start off with
people's names.
the main
Our
character,
main character is Selena.
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 Yes,
Selena.
yeah.
All right.
It's close. Sardothian.
All right. All right. Um, Mr. Dramatic. Uh, Dorian. Dorian's easy.
Dorian. Dorian's easy.
Dorian's dramatic. Trying to like look through different people.
Your next is the King of the Guard.
Yeah. I like him. And I have no idea how to pronounce his name. Oh.
Okay, so it's Kale.
Kale.
I say Kale.
Kale.
That's just
So that did go through my brain. I was like,
yes. And
is
a
this
lot of people make the
Kale?
joke about Kale and they put the little emoji. Some people say Cole, and I was like, that's just incorrect because it should be OA. So I will say Kale.
I like
It's
him, which
Kale.
I worry for his safety.
Okay.
Uh,
I gotta admit, I do like Kale as well.
Kale's good.
Okay. What else
Um,
do we got?
does that cover a lot of people?
Huh?
Oh, her last name is really hard too.
Who's last name?
Selena.
I just said it was Sardothian. And you said, oh, okay.
I think I ignored that. I just was smiling.
So we have that. We have Endivere, which
Oh,
is the um where she was enslaved. We have
yep.
Illyria, which is their whole kingdom.
I feel like that's not how that's pronounced either. Because
I
there's
might be wrong.
the L. See, this is the moral of the story is that names don't matter.
Now you have me second guessing myself. That's probably wrong.
Aurelia.
Oh
You said
shit. Yeah, that's what I meant. Whatever. Okay. We also have, which some of these like I've looked up correct pronunciations, and some of them I just ignore and still don't know. Like
yeah.
Calton, the girl that is like
Oh,
obsessed with Dorian.
I don't like her. I literally have a Caldane.
Calton, yeah. I think every time I saw her name, my head just went Caitlin. Just, like I was like, I know it's wrong. I know it should be this, but I'm not gonna like stop every time I see it and just be like, wait, how do I say it? It's not important. And I think that's the majority of the people. Georgina is the queen.
Yeah.
Easy. Duke Parrington
Mm-hmm.
is annoying.
Um,
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into it. I
oh,
have literally also everything that because this is my first, I read on a Kindle.
yeah.
So I bought the book, which my husband was like, why are we buying a book that we already bought? Because it's fun.
So like
Um,
I said, I read the
Everything I
book
have
like
tabbed is like foreshadowing or like things that I didn't pick up the first time because I literally like read the 8 Throne of Glass books in 1 month exactly. Um, so there's some things that I missed and some things that I picked up on, which I can't like tell you all of them because you don't know yet. So we can start off with chapter 1,
okay.
where we run
Um, I
into.
I actually want to start before chapter one with
Oh, okay, on the map.
this map. I
Yes.
love a good like map in a book.
I never look at a map ever in a book.
I I think it's so much fun for like world building and everything. Like a map, you give me like a family tree, like give me something to like make this feel real. I love it. I love it.
Well, take a look because we head to all of these places. So,
All right, so yeah, chapter one.
we're in the salt mines of
Yeah,
Endivere,
yep.
and it's a struggle.
Yeah, I feel
I
like
want first
this,
takes of her through there. Oh no.
I like don't really like.
Why? 'Cause she thinks she's hot shit.
I don't know. I feel like she's giving Katniss, but not in like,
So to be fair, I never
but
liked
like an
Katniss.
active Katniss.
Okay, I see it.
Yeah. Um, I get it. I think it's so much expo in these first like 3 to 5 chapters. It's
Hmm.
just like it's so much. Um,
Which a lot of people say too. They like read it and they're like, you like, they need to get. It's always you need to get through this. You need to get through A Court of Thorn and Roses, and it gets better. Um,
like,
these first couple, you just you gotta build it.
and that's kind of like what I took it as. I was like, okay, we're world building here. We're getting to like where we can actually function and
Which
enjoy.
also, going back to the argument, if I read Assassin's Blade and then came back and started this and then had to read world building again after I read Assassin's Blade, I would have probably been so angry.
just
It would
skip,
have been worse than just reading through.
just skip through it. Yeah, no, yeah, a lot of it was like very just like some of, and I guess this is just like writing and everything, and nothing against it, but it's just like, it's very like, all right, like, here's our very obvious statement, and
Yeah,
like, just, which is fine. And that's the thing is I'm trusting the process here, and we're getting there.
which I'm also pretty sure, like, don't get me if I'm wrong. Did I think she wrote this before ACOTAR,
I could
the
not,
first one?
no idea.
Um, that might be totally false.
Okay. This is actually skipping ahead again. Are they connected at all? Are the worlds connected? Like for Akatar and for Throne of Glass? Is that something that I can't know yet?
Um, the vibes are there.
Because
I'm
I'm
not
like,
gonna give too much away.
okay. Because this
I
seems
mean, you're not gonna see like characters by name in these
no, no,
books.
no, no, no. But like, it seems like this is like,
Yes, this book
wait,
was Sarah
oh,
J. Maas's first book at 16.
wow.
So that's yes.
All right.
The okay, sorry. Continue with the
Way better than
connection.
so. um. Hmm,
Why?
all right.
Because you see some similar things.
Yeah. Well, the like the mention of like the Fae and everything, and that like there used to be magic here and everything. And I was
Hmm.
like, never would have made that connection, like not knowing that like she wrote both series and like
Right.
read Akatar. But yeah, it makes me be like, ooh. And I got really excited when the fairies left her little flowers. That just like made me really happy.
Yeah. Okay. Before we skip, that's pretty far ahead.
Yeah. No, going back to like I think it's in either like chapter 2 or chapter 3, but when she gets like her little anything where you're talking about like a transformation scene where like you're getting all like cleaned up and put in like cute little pretty clothes. I love that. I love that. It probably started with like Toy Story 2 and Woody getting his little makeover, but I
Story two. My immediate first thought was the Princess Diary,
okay, that you're right, you're right.
but
But that
facts.
like Hunger Games again, Hunger Games, where it's like she gets her whole little like makeover. Like I love those are like so satisfying to read for me. So like the ones in here are like too short. I'm like, give me more.
Yeah.
But yeah, that happened.
So we're leaving Enderveer to go be possibly the King's champion
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
our competition with 23 people.
That's wild. Like, why? For why? For why?
Why not just pick them all? Why not just have an army of people to kill people?
Like, I get you kind of have to, like, test them a little and make sure that they're, like, competent and, understand the stakes that they have. So, like, even if we cut it down a little bit, but, like, why are we narrowing it down to just one?
Correct. Because he can only have one champion.
Whatever.
One thing I wanted to point out before we get that far is which I don't want spoilers. It's not really a spoiler. We talk a lot about her, well, vaguely her life before whatever happened.
Yeah.
Obviously, we get, okay, she's an assassin and that's why she was put here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Another person we talk about is Arabin.
But that's, like, the person that, like, trained her and everything.
Yeah, that found her when she was 8 on the side of the river.
Mm-hmm.
He is the king of assassins.
Okay.
So there was one part which I just want you to keep in mind. Um, Not really. I just really liked how it was. I did not pick up on the first time, or if I did, I just literally didn't care. On like the beginning of chapter 5, she'd been newly orphaned, and at even 8, she knew that a life with Arabin, with a new name that no one would recognize, but someday everyone would fear, was a chance to start over.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just
The fact that she, like, had a name before this.
right. We just have like no idea what's
Mm-hmm.
going on.
And I feel
And
like,
then that, sorry, go.
no, and it's so interesting that, like, she's getting yet another, like, name change
Mm,
for, like, this whole champion thing.
right. Which back to names, Liliana.
One of those. It definitely is one of those.
Fuck. um,
Mm.
yep, it's one of them. We'll get there.
Yeah,
So
Lillian. Yep,
that brings us Lillian. Okay, that's what I thought. It's like Gordana or
yep,
Gordana or
yep.
something. They're gonna hate us. We just don't care about their names.
It's not the priority.
So that is when she's on her way to Ardalan. Darwin.
Alderaan.
Yep, all of them. And so they're camping and stopping as they go. Like you
Hmm.
said, they bring her the little flowers.
I loved that so much. I was like, that's actually amazing.
And that she knows, like, okay, I gotta cover up all the little footsteps because they cannot know that these people were here.
But that's whack that, like, they're saying that there's no magic left, and the fact that there's literally, like, active proof of little fairies.
Right. Well, it's just they are like gonna be murdered.
Hate that. Oh, that's right, because
Uh,
the forest that hasn't been, like,
it's
destroyed.
like untouched, kind of. Not necessarily, but like
Yeah. Oh, all right.
another powerful quote that I liked because
Mm-hmm,
this.
mm-hmm.
Oh, I got two things when she gets to the capital.
Yeah.
Um, that I didn't pick up on where it's a glass castle. Obviously, we're in Throne of Glass.
Oh,
Um,
almost said the name of the book in the book, like, so many times, and I was like, uh. And
Talking about the illuminated castle rose from the sleeping city like a mound of ice and steam. There was something greenish about it and seemed to pulse.
that made
I
me
was like,
think
that is
immediately.
crazy to describe that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then at the end of that, before it switches over, also anytime there's a little curly thing, we're switching POVs.
Mm-hmm.
Or like sometimes not even, sometimes it's just like a different scene. Or
Yeah.
sometimes it switches a person, so like you have to pay
Yeah.
attention. Um
This was my that okay, so that little curly after that part, when it switches to like Dorian's point of view, that was the first time that I said this guy is so dramatic.
Okay, but right before that, the part where she's saying she'd win.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She didn't wish to reign over the city again. Magic was dead. The Fae were banished or executed, and she would never again have anything to do with the rise and fall of kingdoms. She was fated for nothing, not anymore. Wild.
So that makes me think either we're having like a lost princess moment, or she just could like control so much because she could just like kill whoever needed to be killed and change like the political landscape that way. So those are my two thoughts. I was like, I don't
Those
know.
are two good thoughts. I like both.
Maybe it's both and. Maybe it's not either or, maybe it's both and.
Or maybe it's neither.
No, because another moment that made me like think about that was when I can't even remember where it was. But they said
About what?
about their eyes being the same color and his eyes being different than the rest
They're
of their.
not. They're not the same color.
Oh, well,
Are you talking about Dorian and Selena's eyes?
yes.
They're not the same color.
Oh.
If you want to go to her eyes in her little transformation moment, fuck, I don't know where that is. Hers are always described. They are like blue
They have like that golden ring around
with a
them.
golden ring around the pupil,
Mm-hmm.
and his are always described as sapphire.
Okay. Okay.
Which it's also the point of uh did I mark this one? No. That point that you were making, that he does not have the same eyes
What did they
as
say?
his mother, or some things I was like, I didn't want to mark because I don't want to talk to them you about it.
Oh, okay. Maybe it wasn't. All right. Yeah. Oh,
But
okay. Okay, here's what
important,
it
not the
was.
same.
Yeah, it was the assassin and the prince glanced at each other, their blue eyes reflecting the same intent.
Oh, because they both said blue. Yeah, one is lighter, one is sapphire.
All right, all right. But
Yeah,
his and everybody else's. So
correct.
that had me sussed.
Then we have her in the castle. Kind of see a little bit of fear. She does not want to be in the glass part of the castle.
Yeah, which is like super valid.
Definitely. Um, so she isn't anyway. She's in the stone part of the castle.
Mm-hmm. We love
She
a moment,
we love what?
a good library moment.
Oh, a good library moment.
I was
She
like,
is a bookworm.
they're a
And it's
little
also like a cute little
back and
so is
forth.
he.
We're so silly. I was like, you guys are ridiculous, actually.
The letters.
Yeah.
And I was reading through this and I was like, wow, it's so refreshing to have a main character that can read it right.
No, you're right.
I mean, it took her a little bit to remember
It,
how to hold a pen, but
you had to just like practice in the air for a little bit.
yeah. Um,
I can't
so
say that
they
this
think,
an enemies to lovers trope though, because they're not like, I mean, I know that they're like technically enemies, but they're not acting like enemies in like
right,
any of their scenes together. They're just like kind of like vibing and like vaguely annoyed with each other. Like
yeah,
that
he's
thing.
being a little too flirtatious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so she goes through that at one point. Then we hear
I'm
Calten.
out of order and we'll get better at this, I'm sure. Or maybe not because my brain doesn't work. But but no, there was back in like chapter 6, I think, when they were talking about when her and Kale were talking about how he's like, "Oh, do you think that like someone gave you up within like, you know, the underground
Oh
network?"
yeah,
And I was like, "All right, who snitched?"
who
Because
snitched?
who's because this girl is like way too smart to just like get caught. So I'm like, all right, who was it?
Another thing we're looking out for.
Think about it. She doesn't even want us to know her inner monologue about it.
Yeah, it's a little sensitive subject,
Yeah.
which we will definitely get to.
In this book?
It's mentioned a little. You don't get like the true basis of it. Like it's weaved.
I love a non-answer.
You'll figure out a little bit more though.
Okay.
Um,
Okay,
other
also,
thing that I marked. Oh,
oh, go
go
ahead.
on. No, you have all the new thoughts.
Okay, so
I'm just like trying not to tell you too much.
in chapter 8, I think it was right
Oh, I'm in eight.
after the no, we're talking
Okay,
about
right before you start,
on.
why is the eight upside down?
Oh my god, it is.
That was just the thing that made me the most angry. I had to go to like another 8 chapter to see if that's just the font, and it is, which I hate, but continue in chapter 8.
I don't like that.
Sorry.
Okay, when she there's a secret tunnel. There's a secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel.
Where is there a secret tunnel?
No, that's just what made me think about it. It just made me think about that. I'm assuming we have the same kind of book, so it's on page 53. Um,
I'm on page 53.
when they're talking about the gargoyle, and then
Oh,
like
oh,
this
oh, oh, oh,
foot, and
oh.
then oh yeah.
And they're like, what is this?
She's like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know. Means you're wasting my time." Like he's so nonchalant about it that like he definitely knows what this is, and is just like trying to get her to not be suspicious about it.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
But I'm excited for that. Oh, it's right before the library moment.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that's pretty much the only thing that would like make me not want to like continue on a secret tunnel mission is like finding a library immediately next. I'd be like,
I'd be like, oh, I forgot
right.
what we were talking about. What were those weird marks? Nobody cares. Books. One thing that was like, oh, also before we get there, Philippa,
I like her. I like her a
queen.
lot. Listen, that was my other note. I literally says I like Philippa and Kale, but that probably means they're not gonna last.
So the I literally didn't think about this until you brought up Toy Story as your little like moment.
Uh-huh.
She's giving me Mrs. Potts.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yep.
The attitude is
Oh,
giving Mrs. Potts and Beauty and the
yep.
Beast.
Yep.
She's like, I'm not gonna stand for your shit.
I
She
love
knows
it.
what's up.
Yeah, no, she was great. I really liked her. She was like, okay, why do you think they picked me?
Also, we stopped after chapter 10, but can you imagine how maniacal it would be if I stopped you after 9? Because at the end, he's like, Kale's like, come on, we're going to meet the king or whatever. And she's like, kind of starting to have a panic attack.
Yeah.
And just like that last part
Yep.
where he's just a man, but a man you would treat with respect and rank his demands.
Yeah. That was trust.
I was like, oh, okay, Kale.
That was so sweet. I really like him. You look like
Remind you, you're not on trial. You will not be tested today.
Yep. I like him a
You
lot.
looked rather pretty
Better
today.
Dorian right now. He's
Can you
my favorite.
imagine if I ended you there? You looked
Yeah.
rather pretty today.
So I'm glad that we
They
went through.
entered the room.
No, I'm glad that we got all of it.
So then she
Oh,
gets introduced to the king,
yeah.
which he's a little aggressive, but
Yeah. I
he's
don't.
the king, so
He,
expected.
yeah. The fact that like she made eye contact and he was already looking at her, I was like,
Okay.
I don't like that.
I like this part we're talking about all the possible champions who 23 men stood between her and her freedom.
Mm-hmm.
They're all men,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. And they're looking at this pretty little girl in her little dress and her ruby slippers.
I loved her ruby slippers. I was like,
I was just trying to picture that in my head too, the way they're talking about this dress. And I was like, it sounds like, unless I'm imagining colors, that this is like a seafoam green kind of in white-ish
mm-hmm.
dress
Yeah.
with red. Why? Those don't
for
go together.
blood, obviously.
Right, but it also had like a red ribbon in it or something. I was like,
No,
and what are
we don't
you trying
have
to
it.
be the Monster Mash from Friendlies?
Please.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that was
Okay.
like an upside down monster mash.
So he is talking about how this whole thing's going to start.
Yeah. And he's like, and I'm not even gonna be there for it.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, you guys will figure it out. I'll be back for the fun action. But
For the finale.
don't worry, I can still kill you.
It's like, all right, where are you going? That's so important. You had to have this competition and you're not even gonna be there for it.
Also,
Oh,
you'll miss.
huh?
You'll miss.
You'll miss. I loved that. Okay, but right above that, I think,
Yeah.
yeah, where some of you might die. Is giving.
Oh no.
That's how I read that in my brain. I was like, some of you may die in the process, and I was like,
Oh boy.
God.
Sorry, we're just gonna weave in some Harry Potter here, of course.
No, there's gonna be we. I think we have so many. No, that was a Shrek reference.
Shrek. Oh. You were thinking, okay. My
You were,
mind went to like Goblet of Fire.
yeah, Shrek. I was
Shrek.
there. When he's like looking.
Guys, if you didn't know, I'm 28 and she's 20,
Yeah,
and we are in fact pretty much Disney adults.
and we have too many already. We've gone everywhere from like Toy
So
Story to like we've got everything.
far. Okay.
And our friendship is like based on Harry Potter. Like that's how we became friends. And now we're
Hmm.
having a full circle moment of having like an actual a podcast about books that we're reading.
Yay.
Good for us. Okay, so anyway, you'll miss.
Yep.
Uh,
So that's when he's going to come back, and there's going to be four left, and they are going to fight in a duel.
mhm. So obviously she's going to make it to the final four. Otherwise, this is going to be a really short book.
I mean, it's an 8 book series, so there's no way we're getting there, and it's not
That's
something's not happening.
you make my point for me.
Um,
Oh, the sword's name also stupid. Why is this man allowed to name anything? Nothing. Nothing.
nothing, nothing, not hung.
Trying to say, guy.
Hmm.
That's its new name.
Oh God, you just
All right,
said that, and I'm just like, I just need that quote like pinned.
that'll
Why
be
is
our.
this man allowed to name anything? Pin it right there. We're gonna put a pin in it. We'll come back to it later.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh boy. Oh, and then when they walk out and Dorian leaves first, and then the king leaves, and then he just like pops up in the hallway. He's like, "Hey guys, what's up?"
He's like, I just didn't want to be in there anymore. Actually,
He's like, "Huh, I'm waiting for you, of course." And Kale's like, we're gonna have dinner together. You don't need to wait for me. I was speaking to my champion." Oh,
so dramatic and just like a like. I kept trying to think of like who I'm imagining him in my mind as, and like I don't really.
mm-hmm. I mean,
I
he's like a little flirty, arrogant type. Not really arrogant, just kind of.
no, he's just like
I'm the prince.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I was trying to figure out like who I'm imagining him in as my in like my brain. I don't know who I'm picturing him as.
Yeah, I can't
Not
really think of
that's
a comparison either.
actually like think about what people like look like or what their names are. Like I truly do just read for the plot.
Yeah. Oh, we will talk about that later, though. What we think people look like, because obviously fan casts are all over the place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A lot of people compare like the don't look up any fan art. Don't. It will spoil everything.
Okay.
I will look up for you if you would like. Pre-screen.
you can give me a spoiler free
Um,
fan art.
like the one I sent you this morning.
Yes.
What is your book boyfriend? In March, which is when my birthday, got Rowan Whitethorn. And June, would you get Resand? I think.
Yeah, which like Reese is fine. I don't mind him.
A lot of people have fan arts like Resand similar to Dorian, like the
Oh,
dark hair,
but like I
that
feel
kind of
Reese
vibe.
Reese isn't like he's not like silly goofy the way like
Right,
Reese always
exactly. But I'm saying looks wise,
okay.
similar.
Okay.
He is not silly goofy. It's like Cassie and silly goofy and like Reese uh
Yeah. Dorian's
I'm the
like
shit vibes.
if they had a baby together, it would be Dorian.
Oh, also one thing to note, on the next page, 71, they always say I'm by the word. I'm gonna say
That made me
word.
that made me giggle.
Uh that's like God.
I figured it made me laugh. I was
It's
like,
not like a God, but it's like
is it like the
that
cauldron?
kind of. Yeah. It's not like a physical thing.
Yeah, it's just like a gonna
Like a
bring a
what the hell.
Star Wars reference. It's like, oh, what does he
Okay.
say? It says, oh, bud maker. All
Then
right.
this is the part where we get like what her identity is, that she
Mm,
is a jewel thief from Bellhaven.
yeah. Which honestly is good for her because it's gonna have everybody just kind of like underestimating her the whole time.
Oh, for sure.
As soon as she starts showing her skills, they're gonna be like, what's going on with this girl? And I feel like people are gonna get like really suspicious really quick. Like
Right.
if she comes in like full force, like her full capabilities, like she's gonna have to be like intentionally making herself like not look as good as she is if
Yeah, like when they say, I bet they won't expect to be trounced by a beautiful lady.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then we run into Kelton in the hallway.
I don't like her. It's not a
I love how this switches too. Like how she talks and then Dorian like walks away and then she's like,
yep, yep.
um, yeah. So it's pretty chill up
He's
until we
so
hit
funny.
the end of chapter 10.
I can't tell if Dorian is like when they're at like the bottom of page 73 when she's like, "Oh yeah, Lady Lillian and Captain Westfall are like BFFs," and then she's like, "Oh,"
Said dramatically.
and then she's like, "Oh well, what about you?" And he's like, "I suppose we're even more than BFFs." It's just so silly.
It will be difficult for Lady Lily and I as well. Perhaps more so.
We're
Just
gonna be.
like, get away from me, lady.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then he's like, where'd you get that dress? I made it, had it made for her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's your blue eyes.
Yep. Yes.
At least they have one common enemy because her other enemy is not his enemy.
Mm-hmm. No, actually, the funny Selena's actually very funny because she's like talking about how white she is.
Oh,
She's like,
yes.
I pale in comparison to Lady Caltane's fine features. I'm like, girl, that made me laugh. It's like in the middle of page 74.
Yeah.
Ugh, so funny.
And then we find out that she's meeting with Duke Parrington. Calton, not Selena.
Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. And he has that big dude, right?
Yeah, he's the guy that, yeah, he has Kane.
Yeah,
And he went to Enderveer to get Selena with them.
right. And he was mean to her when she first met Dorian. And he was like, none of that.
What do you think about him?
Who,
Loaded question.
Harrington?
Yeah.
I don't like him.
Okay, good. Okay.
I don't like him. He's mean.
He's got bad vibes.
He's got bad vibes. Exactly. And if he's like sponsoring Kane, that's like more bad vibes. These are red flags all over the place.
Okay, just wanted to double check.
No, I don't like him. He's done
And
nothing.
then
Oh,
Selena also says, "Oh, Kale, are you eating lunch? I'm starved. You want to hang out?"
that was so
And
funny.
he's like, no."
That was great.
And I smiled at her.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I like him.
I like him too.
So the competition is starting.
It actually begins tomorrow. And then she's humming through her meal.
I do that too. Like if I'm really
She's a little
hungry,
happy.
need food, I'm just like,
And that's where we ended for this week. We actually only read this yesterday.
yeah, yeah.
We set this up. We're like, okay, we're going to read like 1 to 5. And then 20 minutes later, Delaney's like, can we read more?
Maybe we can just like read a little bit more. I know. So
This is why I read all 8 books in a month.
no, that I 100% that makes sense now. I'm excited. I'm excited. Like the first physical book that I've read in.
It's gonna crush you. And that's what everyone said. I literally saw a TikTok about it this morning. I was like, everyone always like recommends Throne and Glass, but why are we recommending to like really hurt someone? It's like, oh my God, this was the best book series. I love it. Like you're supposed to like recommend things that like make people happy. You're like, you have to read this. It killed me. It caused me so much trauma. You
Oh my
must
God.
do it as well.
All right. So like is so how many books? 8?
Yeah. It's 8, and they only get bigger. Except I think Assassin's Blade is it's smaller,
Okay. Yeah, I was
and
gonna say
then
that one was
Kingdom
small.
of Ash is the last book. It is the largest.
Okay. Is it
So
like soul
yeah,
full time or can I like wait for some soul crushing until like later books or
um, I don't think there's too much in the first two. Let's see, Crown of
so like
Midnight.
at a
I
time?
also read them so fast. I gotta process like what's in one and what's in the other.
Yeah.
I just think like Assassin's Blade is gonna be a hard time for you.
No.
And I didn't want to start with that because you know nothing, which is amazing.
I'm excited.
I'm excited for you.
It'll be
Any
good.
predictions so far, or any like
Um,
final thoughts or things you want to see going forward?
all right, let's think we're gonna think short term here. I don't know. She's gonna get underestimated. She's gonna knock out like 6 dudes in round one because she's tired of looking at their faces. And that's the only reason that she needs. Um, and then everyone's gonna be like, huh? She's probably gonna get disqualified. I don't know. Because everyone's
Okay.
gonna be like, oh, we don't want a girl to beat us.
All right. I'm
Gradual,
excited to keep
gradual
reading.
are gonna happen. That's my prediction.
All right.
And
Ooh.
do, do we have a name for this?
No,
Okay.
we should come up with a name.
Yeah. Drop ideas.
Let us know in the comments.
Ideas for us. No, no idea. All right.
Okay.
Well, thanks for putting me on this little journey. I'm
Oh,
excited.
I'm so excited for you to be on this journey.
Okay.
I had nobody to talk about this journey with, and I'm forcing you to do it with me. And this is also the first time I've ever reread a book because, and like, even I don't rewatch TV shows, I don't rewatch movies. Like, I'm not, like, I saw it once. Okay.
That's
I get
wild.
bored.
That's wild.
Already not bored.
All right, fair. So that's how I know it's good. It's this is not a small undertaking. This is a
No,
lot.
no, it's not. And
All
we're
right.
gonna do all of them, and then we're gonna get into Crescent
Feel
City.
like Crescent City after this. Have you read Crescent City?
No, I started to read Crescent City, and then I was like, we should do this because I couldn't get into it.
Okay, fair. All right. Well, here we go. We're doing
Woo!
it.
We'll
This
cut
would
all this out.
this would happen.
Whose man's is this? It's not even a package, it's like a person.
Not a person.
Oh, video found. What do you mean?
Yeah, there is no.
No, no, no. I meant on my doorbell.
Oh,
Who are you?
tell him to go away. We're podcasting.
It's a child. I mean, he's not a child. He's probably like 25. He's got a clipboard.
Ooh.
Is he still waiting out there? He left his little paper.
Oh,
There he
well.
goes. Okay. Oh my god. So, hi. Can you calm down now? Hey, baby.